Morning, my name is Uma Bhadauria of class 12th D. I am going to explain the chapter number 3, Deep Water, written by author William O. Douglas. Let's move to the next slide. About the author, William O. Douglas. Douglas was a leading advocate of individual rights. He was a judge at Supreme Court of USA, retired in 1975 with a term lasting 36 years and remained the longest serving justice in the history of the court. He was born on October 16, 1898 in Manania. When he was 6, his father died, leaving his mother and the 3 children to make their way on very little, so they moved in with relatives in Yakima. William O. Douglas was one of the most liberal and activist justices of the US Supreme Court. It was boy William Douglas was the main character of the Deep Water chapter. The story talks about how, as a young boy, William Douglas nearly drowned in a swimming pool and about his fear of water, and thereafter how he finally overcome it. Let's talk about the title of Deep Water. Deep water means deep trouble which was faced by the author in his childhood, but with his determination and confidence he was able to overcome that fear. Title is adaptation because author recount his terrible fear of death from drowning. Symbolically, to be in deep water means to be in great trouble. For what is phobia? A phobia is an uncontrollable, irritational and lasting fear of certain object, situation or activity. This fear can be so overwhelming that a person may go to great length to avoid the source of this fear. In simple words, a phobia is a last stage of fear. There are different kinds of phobia like claustrophobia, hydrophobia. In hydrophobia, a person is in fear with the water. Same in the chapter, Mr. O. Douglas was also developed a phobia of water.
Here is information from any.
Let's talk about how to overcome a phobia. First, we need self-confidence. First, take time out. Distract yourself from the worry for 15 minutes by walking around the block, making a cup of tea or having a bath. Second, breathe through panic. Stay where you are and simply feel the panic without trying to distract yourself. The goal is to help the mind get used to coping with the panic which takes the fear of away. If you avoid fear, it takes you to the scarier path. Whatever you fear, if you face it, it should start to fade. If you panic one day getting into a lift, for example, it's best to get back into lift the next day. Then close your eyes and imagine a place of safety and calm, and visualize a happy place and start thinking that your fear is slowly is getting away. Just like the Douglas who grew up, he took the help of an instructor to learn swimming. His training went on from October to April. For 3 months, he was taken across the pool with the help of rope. As he went under, terror filled him and his leg froze. The instructor taught him to exhale underwater and inhale through raised nose. He made him kick his leg to make them relax. Then he asked him to swim. He continued swimming from April to July. Still, all terror had not left. And at last, then he overcome his fear of water. Was the autobiography of the writer. Deep Water is about the writer journey of overcoming the fear of water. which is deeply rooted in him since childhood. The author started fearing water since the age of 4. It started when he was visiting California with his father. He visited a beach where a wave knocked him down and swept over him. This terrified the author, although the father laughed at this, knowing it was no danger. However, this experience terrifying him and developed a fear of water. After that, when the author is 11 years old, he experienced another incident which everlasted his father. He is at a swimming pool in Yakima trying to learn swimming. On one fine day, a bully decides to pull a dangerous prank. He pushes him in the deep of the pool, which frightened the author. He reaches 9 feet into the water and starts struggling desperately to hold on to something. However, he yelled for help, but he started feeling paralyzed, and only his heart was moving now. Thus, he giving up and reading himself to die, but wake up at the sight of the pool. However, the terror he experienced while drowning never goes away. It continued to haunt him for many years and even spoiled his future expedition concerning swimming, fishing, and more. He even visited Maria Lake, Colombia, and more, but it is not able to enjoy it. Thus, he decided to overcome his fear by hook or by crook. He enrolled himself in a swimming class and tried to learn from the instructor. The instructor teaches him many tips and tricks of swimming. He began with the inhaling and exhaling part of the practice it for many years. Further, he moved on to the kicking the legs on the side of the pool. Finally, he combined all this with the final move of swimming. Although the author knew how to swim, he is still terrified of water. Thus, in order to get rid of the fear, he decided to control it. He mocked it by thinking, what can it really do? He goes to the water, and to his surprise, his fear goes away. He faced it in many places, at the last managed to conquer it. Conclusion of deep water. To sum up, deep water summary, we learn that if we are determining enough and have the courage, we can overcome any fear that come our way without letting the fear overpower us. The most asked question of this chapter is, why was Douglas determined to get over his fear of water? Answer: his fear of water ruined his fishing trip. It deprived him of the joy of canoeing, boating, and swimming. Douglas used every way he knew to overcome his fear. He had developed since childhood. Even as an adult, it held him firmly in its grip. He determined to get an instructor and learn swimming to get overcome his fear of water. And the second most asked question was, what quality turned Douglas into a good swimmer? Answer: his determination to conquer his fear is what turned him into a good swimmer. As a reader, we learn a lot from this story. I love that the author has that he finding a way to erase his fear. Even after such a terrible experience, he got up and faced his fear. Last, not the least, the chapter gives us the message that conveyed by this story is that it is not death but the fear of death that creates terror in our mind, so that fear need to be shaken off. Also, any fear can be conquered if we try hard enough. If Mr. William O. Douglas do not come over his fear over water, he do not enjoy his life as a young boy. At last, Mr. Douglas was win over his phobia and tests his skill in precarious and unfamiliar water. Still, his phobia vanished completely. Thank you.